The experience was very profound for us.
Profound is a good word for it. Very rich. As artists, it continues to reap benefits.
We had accumulated reams of video just from our impressions and the sound, the birds, the church bells, the sounds of being in the basilica. And so we left with these impressions, and it kind of rekindled this love for our culture, the Catholic culture, and this sense of ritual. And not that we're practicing Catholics, but there's something that we were really connected to this place.
The thing about dance is video is really important. But for dance, they want video that doesn't show a lot of edits.
Documentation.
They want more of a documentation because they want to see your choreography.
This is when we're sending out
when we're sending out stuff within dance. And so there's a very big differentiation between dance on video and dance for video. They're two very different things. For either of us, this was the biggest production we've done. The biggest camera shoot, you know, having 5 cameras.
Having 5 cameras was incredible.
When you do it in front of an audience, like a live audience, you're kind of going in a broader, you're trying to please all of these people at once, versus when you just have 5 cameras on you, and while you're going through the piece, like, find the camera, where's the camera?
I think all the attention to detail I find really fascinating. I've done some just really like small video projects for my dance composition type classes, and so it's fun for me to see it on a bigger scale than, you know, just my kind of taking out my little camera with a couple of dancers. And so it's fun to see kind of a full-fledged production with all the technical stuff. It's been really interesting.
Oh yeah, there's one entrance where we come in and there's a big camera in the way, and they have those big long things on the end, and it's really dark, and and we've got a group of, like, there's 10 or 12 of us at one point that all have to get out of this little teeny door around this camera really quick.
For me, this is the first time I've been involved in a production where it was my material and somebody else directing, and I really enjoy that, and I'm really very impressed by Tom's work.
Tom Halak was just incredible, and I'm just an uber big fan of Tom Halak now. But for the most part, we really just let him work, and it was great that we could just, I felt like we could just give it up, because we're kind of, we usually do everything. And
we're used to doing everything.
So it was really great.
Because we don't, in order to do projects of the scale that we like to do, we have to do everything.
It was great being able to be in the space with our cast, because we were so removed from them for most of it. So to be able to work with them in keeping the rhythm, it was very difficult with my women, because I had to go up and down in between the benches, and so that was kind of fun. And I could see their faces as they were working. But yeah, it was familiar. But it was still fresh and exciting. And during our visits, you're not supposed to. Of course, you have to have your body covered. You're not supposed to have your cell phone on, photographs, flash, or anything. And of course, tourists are everywhere shooting pictures. Meanwhile, Mass is going on. While these tourists would come through, and these masses of people would come in and take snapshots very quickly.
Talked about how the tourists aren't supposed to take pictures, but they still do, and it kind of ruins the atmosphere or the sacredness of it. Like when I went to the Vatican, I remember they told us when we went into the Vatican, they're like, you're not supposed to they don't want you to take pictures, they want you to be really quiet. And even though they told us that, once you got in the Vatican, it was noisy, tourists walking around taking pictures. Pretty much everything they asked you not to do went on anyway.
And we were following the processiones, and this is where the flower petals come in. So when you go to a processione, what they're doing is they have mass, and they'll take the image of the Virgin Mary, whether it's a statue or a picture, and they'll take her to another church. And so in some, it depends on which community it was, but there were different mandalas of the Virgin Mary in some places, but whenever they moved the Virgin Mary, there were always flower petals lining the way.
I love the mortification of the flesh part. That's the duet with Bridget and I. There's two of us. We're going over and under the benches. It's difficult. I'm never sure if I'm getting it quite right, but I'm trying. But I do. I really enjoy. It's a lot of very different movement than maybe you would see in a classical ballet type piece. It's kind of unusual movement with the way the movement was generated, and so I feel like it's something I can really kind of dig into.
In each other's roles. I really felt from the crew that they were genuinely with the dancers. You know, and this is a physical theater piece that's like, you know, you guys don't really know what to expect. Maybe you've never been exposed to this, and vice versa with our students. And so you don't know how it's going to play out. But it just seemed like everybody was completely 100% on board. Even when we got cranky and tired.
This production is going to continue to have reverberations, hopefully for everyone, not just the university as a whole, which is going to reap benefits from it, but each of the people who have been involved in it. The performers and the crew members, you're all going to have an international credit.
Are you filming me?
Do it, Jenna! 1, 2,
Just be like Grandma, just like big and dance.
Hey Sean, tell us about your experience so far. I think this is
Mario swims like this.
Is ephemeral, ethereal. Well,
We're pretty.
we're